A new documentary, Vintage Arizona, the Heart of Winemaking, takes a deep dive into the state's growing wine industry, highlighting the challenges and successes of winemakers around the state. And to learn more about the film, we welcome Kelly Mendoza, who produced the documentary, and the film's director, Sean Oliver. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Welcome. We're happy to be here.
You bet. Congratulations on the film. Anyone who gets something like this done deserves congratulations. How difficult was this to do? Talk about the challenges you faced.
Thank you. It was pretty wonderful, actually, I would say, the journey. So it was a 3-year journey, and we just had this incredible passion for telling the Arizona wine story. And so it started with our relationships with the Arizona Office of Tourism, through conversations with them, and also some support with the Arizona Wine Growers Association. We decided to follow the top 4 winemakers from the state's competition in 2022, the Arizona Governor's Cup. And we were kind of taking a risk with that because we weren't sure if these winemakers were going to be like, no, we're not interested, or yes, really excited. We got super lucky. They all wanted to be a part of it. And so the caveat to that was we were going to follow them for a whole year.
Yes.
So that was a little interesting on the front side of it, but I would say the filmmaking side was the most enjoyable, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's always the best part.
Yeah. Talk about the process. I mean, you're the director. I mean, you got to get all this, it's the beautiful visions, you got to get the words, everything's got to work for you. In a year of stuff, that's a lot to compile.
Yeah, thankfully, Daniel Mendoza, who was our cinematographer, was also our editor. So being a tight-knit crew, we were very familiar with every piece that we had recorded. So he set up these great modules, because after a year, I forget how many hours of footage there was. It was dozens and dozens and dozens of hours of footage. And we just sat down, and it was like, you got to relive all those moments. And a lot of it was really special, because they're pretty cool interviews with these winemakers, and they're talking about really interesting things. So to get to do the interview live once and then do it in the edit, it was actually kind of entertaining to not be in that moment and just to get to like watch it.
Yeah. I mean, and Arizona's wine industry, you have passion for it, you said, and
Absolutely.
it's very. Why? I mean, were there other topics out there, or was this like, we got to, because I think you had some experience in California too?
Yes, we do. So our passion for winemaking comes from 2019. We were doing some video commercial work for a large-scale wine company, and through that, it just made us think these winemakers are so real. They're so authentic. There's so much hard work that goes into the process, and we were looking for a documentary topic at that time. So it made us dive into what's going on in our own state. And once we started researching what's going on here, it was just all uncovered, and we knew we had to jump in.
And what is going on in our state? We got southern Arizona, southeastern. We got obviously central and northern Arizona, things happening up there, and the Chino Valley. All that. What's happening in Arizona?
A lot of wine's being made.
Yes.
And they grow it here too. I think sometimes when we talk to people, they anticipate that they're getting the grapes from somewhere else and they're just pressing them here. But these are Arizona grown grapes to make truly Arizona wine that reflects the terroir, reflects the environment. And I'm an Arizona native, so I grew up here, and I got to discover these part of the states that I had never been to, down to Elgin and down south.
So with these stories, how best to show them? What did you do? How did you follow around? What shots did you focus on?
The vineyards are the best place to shoot. They're just so gorgeous. I mean, you can even start to see them on our screen over here. And there's also the variety of them. The vineyards down south are very different than the vineyards that are up north in Jerome and closer to that area.
How so?
Well, I mean, from the ground level, you have huge rocks up north, like they're growing in the limestone, and then you go down south and you have these big rolling hills. It doesn't even look like you're in Arizona anymore. It has a little bit more of like a European kind of look down there, and then even the wine, that's kind of what that's closer to what people think it tastes like compared to like maybe a Napa or up in Oregon that has a little bit more of that old world wine taste.
Yeah. You mentioned cooperate. Everyone seemed like they were very happy and very cooperative, but there has to be a little bit of competition among these winemakers, isn't there?
Yes, absolutely, definitely. I think everybody it's an art form. Winemaking is an art, and I think they all want to make the best wine that they possibly can. And so that's why it was hard for us to select which winemakers to include in the movie, which is how we came up with going with the state's competition route to focus on the top 4 best in class. But definitely.
In making the film and kind of overseeing everything, did any of these stories surprise you in any way?
Yes and no. I'm not surprised by the passion that goes into this process, but also I am, because it is a 4 to 6 year process from putting seeds in the ground to actually experiencing a taste from that first bottle of red. So there were a lot of surprises and also a lot of moments where we just kind of it really resonated with us.
Yeah, any surprises for you?
It's funny you talk about the competition. I thought we were going to see more of that. And I was a little bit surprised at the huge community that they actually had. So even they have different organizations that they're in, and they're like Maynard talks about cracking the puzzle of Arizona wine.
Explain who Maynard is.
James Maynard, lead singer from Tool, you might recognize him. But he would rather us talk about his wines at Caduceus today.
Right, we've actually had him on the show talking about his wines, and that's what he talks about. And he's very successful up there. It sounds like everything is very successful up there. They're doing very well.
And they've been at it for a while.
Yes.
It's kind of that, like, everyone always thinks overnight success, and then there's actually 10 years prior to that.
When you started this process, started the idea of doing a documentary, and you envisioned something in the future, was the result what you initially envisioned?
Sean?
It was very much a discovery. I think with a documentary, you don't want to go out too much knowing what you're looking for, because then you'll kind of avoid those opportunities.
Right.
So we just wanted to go out and capture the challenges of growing wine in Arizona, because it's something that we weren't vastly familiar with. But we're kind of an unusual environment for it. And I thought what was really interesting is a lot of winemakers' takeaway is Arizona gets too cold and it's too wet. And that is not what I would have expected for the problems with growing wine.
Those aren't the challenges one would expect. Again, Vintage Arizona, Apple TV and Amazon Prime available, streaming for there. Congratulations, and thanks for bringing some wine.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're drinking, but we'll figure it out later. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.